What have
Hi.
we here?
Hello.
My name is Luke. Welcome to the Podwans podcast.
And my name is Char Char Jang. And we are here and we are ready to talk some Clone Wars.
This is going to be awesome. We're talking about episode 17 of season 2. Let's get into it.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
Again, it's us. I'm definitely not dressed for Star Wars, obviously.
Neither am I, honestly.
But it's gonna be a fun one. Let's bring in our guests. First, we got Malik.
I'm back. They don't have a sniper on me, I swear.
It's like you're our third, or you're the third guy.
Essentially, and I haven't been paid a lick yet.
I know, right? We really gotta make sure that we get you paid here soon.
Yeah.
Conversation. Yeah, and newcomer, Tatooinequeen.
It's me. It's Tatooinequeen. Very famous, very important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No,
Maybe we'll
thanks
see
for
you in Book of Boba
coming.
Fett.
Ooh, Book of Boba Fett. That'll be fun. We'll have to talk about that later.
And speaking of Boba
stuff
Fett,
like that.
Malik, I love your shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The episode's titled Bounty Hunters. I just dropped my phone, but the episode's titled Bounty Hunters, and I figured, well, I'll just wear a bounty hunter shirt with a bounty hunter medallion. You know,
We are.
He really came
awesome.
prepared.
Oh yeah, he came prepared more than the host did. Let's be real. I mean, the only thing I really got is like
Hosts.
behind me.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett's like Char. He's your dude, isn't he, Char?
Oh yeah,
He is
Char's got a man crush on Boba Fett. Like it's
Boba Fett's my
well
all-time
known.
favorite character. So
Um,
anytime he's mentioned, I get a little weird.
Did you hear apparently Robert Rodriguez and Tamar Morrison work out together? I love that
Oh, no.
fact so much.
oh,
are you talking about when he
no,
was
no.
working out and he was on the news?
No, apparently like they were interviewing Robert Rodriguez. He says, yeah, me and Tamar Morrison just work out together.
Oh, because I remember one time I was watching some video of Tamora Morrison and he was on the news. He was brought up on this news channel and he was in the gym and he was like talking about his workout routine and everything. I was like, oh, cool. He's prepared.
The Polynesian spa.
The Polynesian spa. But Tatooinequeen or Dylan, let's get to know you a little bit. What got you into this little thing that we like to call Star Wars?
Ewoks all the way. It was,
Really?
Wow,
yeah.
here we go.
Yeah. So huge fetish. No, I'm just kidding. No, my dad really, he like grew up with the original trilogy. Oh, he's so cute. And he's like, okay, kid, and sat me down in front of the TV, and I was just like, they're big teddy bears, and they're as tall as me, and I just want to squish them, and that was it. And then, fast forward, and I'm like a youngling growing up with the prequels, and that's like my jam. So it's like my channel, like my brand is like all prequel all the time. And then the sequels came out and everyone like got more into it. And I was just like proud mama, like, shedding a tear, like we're really doing this. We're passing it on to the next gen.
That's awesome. No, yeah, we love to hear that.
Yeah, and actually, before we continue, I'm just curious, like, what was the inspiration behind your name?
Good question.
Well, I'm a big Anakin
I mean,
Skywalker
I was like, you
person.
love Ewoks. I was like, why aren't you the Endor Queen?
Oh man, that would have been really good. Second channel coming soon, Endor Queen. I couldn't think of anything, and at that point my channel was not Star Wars at all, and I just uploaded, like a little like nerd trap. I was like, oh yeah, here's like my Star Wars propaganda, and people ate it up, and I was like, I gotta brand this. And I was like, okay, so obsessed with like the Skywalkers, obsessed with Anakin, what can I do? Tatooine Queen, obviously. There we
Hey,
go.
I think what makes it work is the rhyme scheme to it. I like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of
It
fun to
really
say,
rolls
actually.
off the tongue.
Yeah.
It does. It does a very good job. Malik,
Hi.
we
This fool under me.
Yeah, like the third time you've asked me this question.
I just you know what? Your story is always fun to listen to. That's why I asked.
Wait, Luke, are you
both.
asking him to say it again?
So
No, I
well,
mean,
It's
if
like,
he wants
dude, he's already
to.
said it like
you
4
want me to say it
times.
again? It's your show. If you want me to say it again, I'll say it again.
No, say it again because I actually
All
really
right.
like your story.
All right. So I grew up in a family, like most people do, but a lot. My aunt was really into Star Wars. And much like you, Tatooine Queen, my first Star Wars movie was Return of the Jedi. And while you saw Ewoks, and you were enamored. I saw Jabba the Hutt, and I was like, "What is that? Like, I need to know more about this." And like, I watched again. I remember watching Return of the Jedi a lot as a kid. Fell out of Star Wars for a little bit, and the prequels came out, and like then I really got hard into Star Wars when Clone Wars came out because that was like my main jam when I was a kid, and I never looked back. Like
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I mean, I would say we're all pretty close in age. I would assume.
Yeah.
Maybe that's wrong of me to do, but I think we all really grew up on the prequels. I saw the original trilogy, like the special editions first, and then my first ever movie in theaters was Phantom Menace.
Oh, I didn't even know Hayden Christensen wasn't actually in Return of the Jedi until I was older.
Oh,
I was like, wait a second.
yeah, wait,
That
hold
doesn't
on.
work.
That's not the same guy who's playing tricks on me. But yeah, I mean, I've loved this ever since, and just finding this community and finding people on TikTok and starting the podcast was like my outlet because just like everybody else on the internet, we don't really have friends that are as passionate as we are to talk Star Wars, but here we are. And I thank you guys for coming on, and I appreciate it. But let's get into it. Season
Malik,
2.
remember,
No.
Jabba ruled with fear.
Oh god.
Here we go. Here we go.
I
We're
wasn't
already
afraid. I
coming
was
off-
curious. I'm like, he's a big slug man. He's a gangster. I want to know more.
Yeah, and you're getting to learn more in the Star Wars comic though.
Yes.
Lately. But season 2, episode 17, Bounty Hunters. Char? Plot summary, my guy.
Oh, that's right. Where is my phone?
Oh, here we go. Now we're starting off great.
You say this every single time, Luke. Whenever whenever there's anything slowing down the podcast, you're like, "Oh wow, great start, great
Hey,
start."
no, hey,
Would you believe they're
Way to
friends?
go!
yeah. Would you believe that we're friends?
I honestly kind of thought you guys were married. Like
Oh, I
that's
mean,
the kind
hey.
of banter, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
We're like Anakin and Obi-Wan in this episode.
Wait, who's who? That's the real question.
Oh,
gotta ask
without
the
doubt, Char is Anakin, and like you're Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's
That
the
that
beard,
was
isn't
gonna
it?
that was what I was gonna say. Absolutely.
It's the beard. It's got to be the beard.
Of course.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, ready?
Yep.
The death toll rises! As the battles intensify and threaten a growing number of Republic worlds, planets are left to survive on their own. While the Jedi struggle to fight a war on many fronts, a series of medical stations have been established as a lifeline for those in need. But the facilities are easily prey for separatist attacks. After losing contact with the medical station orbiting Felucia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano are sent to investigate.
Good job, Char.
Yeah.
I might give you crap, but that you really do a good job on these plot summaries.
Sometimes I usually slur my words a little bit because I'm trying to read it as sounded really good. It was good. It was good. So we start off obviously from the plot summary. The Republic's losing medical bases left and right. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka are sent by the council to figure out why that is. And we see they come out of hyperspace. They are trying to figure out where the station is because it's supposed to be there and it's not. Come to find out that it was blown up. We get I think this is the first ever time we get to see like the Tri-Fighters coming out of like a stationary like base kind of. I don't think I've ever really seen that in canon. Has anybody else seen that, or am I making this up? Because sometimes I make stuff. Like seen
up
the
and I make it
Tri-Fighters
work.
prior to that?
No, like how they would come out of that space, like how they would come out of that pod. Because I always
I
when
don't
you
think
see them
so.
in when you see them in canon, they're either coming out of the main frigates,
Yeah.
like in episode 1, or they're on top of the ships in episode 3.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
only ever seen them come out of the ship, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never thought about that.
No, yeah, I just thought about that looking at it, and so Anakin and Obi-Wan
I was
obviously.
one detail we should really bring up since it's like this episode is in memory of Akira Kurosawa,
Oh yeah, that's right.
legendary Japanese filmmaker, because
Mhm.
big inspiration for George Lucas. Again, it says right at the start, like in memory, in honor of Akira Kurosawa.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did forget about that, and that's a huge
How
thing
could
to not miss.
you?
I know, man. Some things just scatterbrained. I blame it on my ADHD. That's what we blame it on. So Anakin and company, they're flying, and obviously the droid shuttle like lets go of the the fighters, and Anakin is like trying to dodge, and Obi-Wan's giving him hell, and so is Ahsoka. And I'm just like, this is like the Three Stooges. This is literally the Star Wars version of the Three Stooges.
As Ahsoka says, "How come every time you fly, we crash?"
Yeah. And he's like, it's not my fault. It's the ships. And Obi-Wan just sits there and just looks at those two and just is like, oh, great. Here we go again. Here we go again. One thing about this episode I will say about those three in particular. This is a big episode that shows the really the coming together of the big three, of how I'd like to call them the big three. What were some things that stood out in that first like main cut before, well, even when they do land? We kind of see a different view of Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship and Obi-Wan, and we kind of get to see different points of view. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, like right off the bat, it's I feel like you can really see like Ahsoka's naivety in like and the politics of everything, because Obi-Wan's like, we're if I guess I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but they are trying to articulate. It's like Obi-Wan saying, I can't really help these people. Ahsoka saying like, why wouldn't you help these people? And it's just one of those things where it's like the classic like, this is the right thing to do, like we must do it, and coming up against the wall of like, well, this is also the right thing to do, reporting that the medical bays are being destroyed. So it's like it's just it's all good, but coming from a different angle. And I think that's really interesting, because I think like Ahsoka's such a mature character so quickly, even though she is like baby, that it's like you forget that she really is that naive.
Oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah, at this point in time, she's still developing, and we don't really get to see her mature until season 3. That's like the most evident time where she finally falls into her place and understands what it means to be a Jedi, until season 3. So
No, yeah,
yeah, it's a good thing
Malik.
to point out.
Yeah, again, like to piggyback off of what Dylan said, it's very it's interesting to see Ahsoka be like the anchor for this trinity.
She
and then
honestly is.
she's like the like, okay, Anakin and Obi-Wan are bickering. I think first off, I love their stupid beach ball escape pod. They seem like such an inefficient way to escape and crash, but I love it's like boing boing everywhere. But as they land, like, and they start arguing, well, we should go this way, and Obi-Wan thinks we should go that way, and then Ahsoka's like, there's smoke over there. We should just follow the smoke. And it's like, oh, right. Like the fact that she's already, that like that if she wasn't there, they probably wouldn't have gotten anything.
Oh no, absolutely. They would have been stuck there for days. Like Obi-Wan and Anakin are just bickering, and Ahsoka's like, when is this gonna end? But I like when those two huge monsters walk
when
by,
they walk by.
and Anakin's like, I don't want to go that way. And I was like, man, this is a kid show, but like the humor hits. I don't care what you say, but this show, and that's the fun part about it, is that it Clone Wars does have like really good humor, but also has really good storytelling, because like George and Dave really put like a lot of thought into it. So as we get to the smoke, Obi-Wan notices that Obi-Wan and Ahsoka both notice that they're coming up on a farm, and they're growing Nicillin, if I'm saying that correctly, right?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember.
Nicillin, and Obi-Wan states that it's one of the most valuable crops in the galaxy because I guess it's used for healing. And they're trying to, so they show up and it's abandoned, and Anakin's like, rule of thought: if you ever want to know what a farmer is farming, always check the barn. And long and behold, there's a starship there.
That's not just any ship. All my Aftermath fans know that's the Halo, a very important ship for the Aftermath books.
Wait, hold on. That's the Halo?
Yes.
I didn't pick that up.
Yeah, that's the Halo.
Oh, okay. So it's not just a starship. It's a very significant starship for those that have read the Aftermath
So
trilogy.
it's also funny because I see that ship. That ship is hella small, and in
Yeah.
those books, 2 characters get like intimate in that ship, and I'm like, where's the room? Because there's 2 other people on board.
This doesn't make any sense. Like, how does this work? So they're searching because they still find it strange that they can't find the farmers. Like, where are the inhabitants? Like, where are they? So Obi-Wan heads one way. Anakin and Ahsoka check one house. Anakin finds a trap door, and there's these Felucians in there, cowering, and Ahsoka's like, oh, they're scared. Like she acts like they're puppies for some reason. And I'm just like, Ahsoka, they're people. Why are you acting like that? But like, and then she's like, oh, it's okay. Well, we aren't gonna hurt you. And then all of a sudden the bounty hunters show up. And I love the back and forth between her and the bounty hunters in the beginning. They're like, we can take one Jedi, and she's like, excuse me, I'm right here. And then Obi-Wan shows up and goes, do you count me? And it's so because this is like the first time we ever really see like bounty hunters versus Jedis, besides episode 2, I should say. And we don't really get to see that a whole lot throughout the entire series. So that was interesting to me. What were your guys' thoughts on that whole scene, I guess? Dill or Malik?
I thought the farmers, the way they spoke was really funny.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't trust these guys.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know. It was funny when you're mentioning that Ahsoka treated them like they were pets. They sounded like pets too.
Oh,
they sounded so innocent. I feel like that's what every farmer is in Star Wars. They're extremely innocent. They have like this regular or high-pitched voice, and they're just trying to get through their day.
Oh yeah, that I mean, I'm reading through Thrawn Ascendancy Greater Good, and there's a farmer in there, and I kind of get that vibe. Now that you say that, but
like,
yeah,
imagine if Uncle Owen sounded like that.
Oh, good lord, that Luke wouldn't have turned out very well.
For me, seeing the bounty hunters, I got hyped seeing Sugi because Sugi is also matters a lot in the she matters a lot in the Aftermath trilogy as well. So it's like, I know where you're gonna go.
Yeah. The Zabrak bounty hunters are just awesome.
Also,
which is gonna be
also Embo. Like, holy hell, Embo's so cool.
Oh my god. That was one of my favorite scenes of Embo in that episode. Is when he takes out one of Hondo's pirates. And I was like, oh, this guy's a menace.
No, yeah. Dylan, thoughts?
It was just I don't know. It was really cool, like that like standoff moment where they're just like, what? Hello? Like, like having the two different groups there, and then the farmers who are like, what's going on, guys? Like, what's gonna happen here? And it's just don't really know what's gonna happen yet, and it is really cool to see like the bounty hunters just be like very protective immediately, where like that's normally like a very Jedi vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
Also the Felucian's design is drastically different from where we last saw them as well. In the Force Unleashed, they did not look like that at all. A lot more tribal, a little bit more like, and a little bit more able to defend themselves, as opposed to like little like dinosaur people.
Yeah, it is because in Force Unleashed, the Felucians are different.
Oh yeah, they're like
they look,
humanoid and like blue, and they
yes,
can like actually fight, and like
yeah,
it's insane.
no, yeah, absolutely. So the farmers obviously stop the conflict between the Jedi and the bounty hunters, and I can't remember what the main guy's name was. No, not Cassis, because he's the one. No, it is him.
Oh, are you talking about the guy who was in the
Not the
suit?
suit. No. I'm talking about the farmer. Like he's like, stop. The Jedi are here. Like they can help. And Anakin and Obi-Wan are just like, from what? Like, why are you?
We'll call him Farmer One.
Yes, Farmer One. Farmer One. I'm sure he's got an. I don't know if it's Cassis. I feel like Cassis is the one that was like, we don't have any. Like he sounds like Carl Weaver's a little bit. Like, to be honest, he does a little bit. Now that I think about it.
I want more corn.
No, yeah. But so the Jedi are very surprised, like why they need protection, and come to find out that they hired the bounty hunters to protect the Cylon from pirates of all people. So that's not very surprising. And Obi-Wan's like, well, why didn't you just ask, like, what, you have enough money, why couldn't you just defend yourselves? And they're like, can you see us? Like, we're not fighters. We're not fighters at all. And I think it's funny when Hondo shows up. Good old Hondo, just trying to make a dime, make a credit throughout the galaxy. And Obi-Wan, like when he sees Hondo, he's like, oh great, this guy again. Like, why do we have to keep running into this guy? And he kind of has a Qui-Gon Watto moment with Hondo. He's like, I've got enough credits to make it worth your while, so you leave them alone. And Hondo's like, Kenobi, credits don't. You thought my client does not take that credit.
No, they won't.
Yeah, that pretty much. And Hondo, what are everybody's thoughts on Hondo? What, like,
I feel like everyone's thoughts on Hondo Ohnaka are the same as everyone else's.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Hondo. Like, even when there's times where he plays the villain, you have to love him. It's just because of his attitude and his ego. It's hard not to love him.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, Hondo, you got better things to do than steal a bunch of farmers in Cylon. Come on, I get it's valuable, but like, can't you go like pirate somewhere else? Like, I sometimes I just don't understand why they used Hondo in that sense, but like I get it. Like it makes sense a little bit. So Hondo obviously is like, well, we can't really do anything with the Jedi, so we're gonna get out of here. But he leaves a threat. And I like how the bounty hunter, what was her name again, Malik?
Sugi
stands up and is like, you're not gonna take you're not gonna hurt these farmers, and you're not gonna take the Cylon. Obi-Wan has a nice little conversation with her after they leave, because it's like he asks her, are you really worried about the civilians? Are you worried about your score? Because bounty hunters, they always are. Usually the bounty hunters that we know, all they care about is the score.
Is the money.
Is the money. and this is the first episode that we really see the Jedi training other civilians.
Mm-hmm.
So this might have been like the precursor to what they do on Onderon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's with the same group of people. I mean, excluding Rex, but
yeah. So what was everybody's thoughts on them training the civilians? Like that whole thing of seeing the struggle between like how the civilians were able to react and whatnot.
So one of us has to go first.
do I do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Negan style?
Ooh, no, that never ends well.
Eeny.
Oh, is that me first? Okay. Again, it's very interesting. I found it funny that for comedy, Dave Filoni thinks not knowing combat means not knowing how rows work, because like Anakin's like make rows of 5, and they can't even do that. I'm like,
yeah. Oh, that was rough.
But
But,
yeah,
like-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But realistically, as farmers, they would like that's their whole thing is rows.
Like,
Like,
yeah,
right?
well, how did you do your crops?
Oh, we just plant them.
In circles.
Yeah, they just put them in circles. It doesn't really matter. They're like, we don't know how to fight, and he's like, it's basic. Like,
Basic. He does like a whole like eight set display of like with let me see that spear. Anakin just goes like, whoa.
Oh man.
You also got Embo in the back just like talking crap the entire time. Like, man, you guys suck.
No, yeah, Embo is probably one of my. I think if I had to rank bounty hunters, he's in my top 5 because he's very much just like the typical like gunslinger Western guy, like the hat and everything. Like he doesn't talk much. He's very mysterious. And we get to see him later in the Clone Wars, but on the opposite sides. And we get to see him.
Those are the exact same reasons why Boba Fett was so loved when he first appeared in Empire, was because of his mystery, is because of his old Western style and the spurs and the gunslinging. That was what made him so cool as well. And I like that you pointed that out for Embo and why people like him as well.
I would also say Embo, if you want more of Embo, go read the Aftermath trilogy because he's also in that too.
Can
you tell I like those books?
Just go read Chuck Wendig's trilogy.
So I will say about those books, the first one's hard to get into, but like the second two, and especially I'd say Life Debt's really, really good. Dylan, have you read any of the books?
I haven't.
Oh.
Those are a great one. They're so good. I enjoy them.
They are really. If I could recommend, have you gotten into like any of like the reading, like any books?
Oh yeah, for Star Wars, like I read Light of the Jedi, and that got me into it. And then I like
There you
went
go.
through like I know it was very like.
Oh yeah, show them your So it's the
sick.
Tattooed is
Stop.
It's
That's
like
so cool.
you can't tell, but
Ride
it's like
the
this
storm.
public symbol as well. It's like graffitied on there. It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then I like went back and I like bought up every book I could find, which was not many at that point where I was living. And Master and Apprentice was my favorite out of like all the reading I've done so far. It's just so many different authors that I can't like always vibe with their writing styles.
Okay.
And that was because I know this is like so naive of me, but like I didn't realize the depth of content out there.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars books in general. And so I was like, I got to get all of this. And then it would just be like one author's style to the other. And I was just like, I can't.
I feel like even when like you have an idea, you still aren't ready for the depth of content Star Wars goes into.
No, yeah. I mean, it can be very, very.
Yeah, you can books. And you can read legends, you can read canon, whatever. You can read whatever you want, but the amount of lore that's in Star Wars, whether it's canon or not, it's amazing. It's mind blowing.
So much.
No, yeah. I there's a lot of books that I would recommend. I mean, obviously we're getting Fallen Star here soon, so if you haven't read like also if anybody is like hesitant to get into like books in general, buy the audiobooks. You will never regret it. Malik wouldn't
accept that advice.
I'm not an audiobook guy. I'm
Malik, you're
sorry.
the
I don't have the
biggest
attention span.
audiobook. You,
So-
I mean, people have their own tastes. I mean, I can't knock you for that, but audiobooks recently have helped me get through books really easy.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
happy they work for you. They just don't work for me.
Like they have the
I'm not like
music, the voice acting is great. Like
Yeah, like
oh my
I
goodness.
recently got the audiobook version of The Empire Strikes Back: A Certain Point of View, and the story about I was telling Harith this the other day. The person who reads the story of Disturbance, which is Palpatine's story, is read by Sam
that's
Witwer.
so good.
That's good.
I was like, when
That's
you
really
have
good.
actors like that reading, it's amazing. And then there was one, I think it was the one about Boba Fett. It was read by John Hamm.
Yes, because
Mhm.
he was supposed to he was in talks to play Boba Fett. If I'm
Was he
not
Boba Fett?
mistaken.
I thought it was Han
When
Solo
it was the first when it was the
when he was doing
first
that funny skit when
No,
the
even
the sequel trilogy was beginning.
even when Boba Fett was supposed to be a movie.
Mhm.
That's who they were planning to cast as Boba Fett was John Hamm. And I was like,
Well, now we
that
know there's no other
there's
player
there's
or
no other
player,
player but Tamora
actor.
Morrison.
Yeah, there's no other actor that could really fulfill the role. I mean,
All
rest in
right.
peace to the late great Jeremy Bullock, but Tamara Morrison is Boba
I,
Fett.
yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that John Hamm was in these things. Now that they got like that level of actor, like holy crap!
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
I
even
haven't gone through all of them, but I know that there's certain audiobooks that have some great voice acting.
no, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Star Wars. We could go on for hours and hours and hours.
And we probably will later
and we
on.
probably will. You're absolutely right. So as they're training, there's a scout that shows up for Hondo. And Embo takes care of the guy. And I think this is the first time you ever so usually, I mean, you can tell what network it was on when it was originally aired because, like, compared to Disney XD and Cartoon Network, you were able to see like death a lot easier on Cartoon Network because it was a little bit looser. Because when you see Embo like kill the guy, like you don't see it, but you see the motion and like the body drop. And I was just like, okay, I remember this as a kid. This really is violent, but you know, I'm here for it. So then they obviously know that if once the scout doesn't show up, Hondo's gonna be coming knocking. So they get prepared. Hondo gets word that they haven't shown up. He gets his goons and they go and attack the base. Now, am I missing anything between here and there that we want to talk about?
I
don't
went
think
first.
so.
You should probably last name. You should go first this time.
Yeah,
What?
Dylan.
I went first last name. You should probably go first this time.
I
mean,
may be remembering it wrong, but I think it's like the next part that like I think we could move like past that and then the part with the tank.
Yes.
like,
yeah. So that's
yeah.
after in between. So once
Mhm.
he obviously we talked about Obi-Wan and like really going after the Zabrak for her, whether he wants like her intentions, which is interesting. Hondo shows up with the tank.
So I have a question about this. How smart are Kowakian monkey lizards?
Yeah.
Because that little thing operates the tank and shoots at them.
Yeah.
How capable and like aware are they?
Yeah, I know, because it's like when you see the one in Return of the Jedi, like it's like he's just like a pet, but this one really is a pain in the ass. If I'm going to be honest with you, the action and to see like the farmers actually take like it's not only just the bounty hunters and the Jedi that are doing most of the damage. Like you're seeing scenes where the villagers are really doing like work. Kind of reminds me of obviously the Ewoks. You don't need all this technology to be able to defend yourself, which I found.
I know
was
it's also it's again it's all one big homage to Kurosawa's film The Seventh Samurai, I believe, as well.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah. Again, I believe in that movie. What they train a bunch of farmers to fight bandits, something like that too. So
Yes.
it's again like Lucas says, Star Wars owes a debt to Japanese culture.
Yeah, and people that say that it's not don't
Oh, yeah,
understand.
and especially when
Star Wars.
Visions came out. Yeah.
Oh, man, Visions.
Get out of here.
It's great. It was great. Hondo somehow, so Anakin is able to get up to Hondo and they fight. And I'm thinking to myself, Hondo's able to handle Anakin pretty well.
Well,
Like
he manages to get the upper hand by like faking an injury. Faking he's beaten because he's like, "Help me, Skywalker! I'm so sorry!" Surprise! It pushes him into the tank.
Yeah. Dylan, anything you'd like to add to that whole? Because I mean, it's Anakin, it's your boy. Anything you'd like to add?
He stresses me out so much. Just like, I have to be honest, like there's the attraction, there's the love, there's the stress level that's just constantly at like a 10 plus. Because he's just I feel like he knows better and then will demonstrate how he doesn't. And just like over and over. That's just like a constant arc with him is he's like, no, like I'm this big guy, like I got it handled, like I can do anything, and like is always bucking up to Obi-Wan and everything, and then is pulling shit like that. That's like what exactly is going on with you?
I and the funny thing is that I can relate to that a little bit. I think a lot of us can relate to like the thinking that we can do everything and then realizing that's not always the case. So
Yep.
I mean that's very very true, and you see that throughout the Clone Wars and obviously the prequel trilogy. He struggles with just being able to he kind of overestimates his own abilities a lot of the time.
That's how
this is very true.
Well, and if you take someone and like harking back to the prequels, you take someone and you're told like you're the chosen one. This is why these are the 3 steps why you're better than everyone else, and you keep telling someone that they're that good, they're gonna believe it and they take it to whatever level they're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was always gonna be his issue, is they shouldn't have treated him any differently, like in my opinion. And just didn't single him out in any special way. That would have made him a completely different person, and he might have chosen a different path.
Interesting. That's an interesting take.
Nice. Oh.
Well, it's a lot of like his formative years were like him changing his scenery, like having, like being with his mom, being a slave, and then going and, having someone that you're supposed to, be linked up with and be taught, like immediately die. And then have this guy and this is Master and Apprentice. Obi-Wan did not want him at all. And he was just like, okay, well, I have that. So you have this resentment from really the only father figure that you're going to find. And then, fast forward, he gets to Palpatine and he's like, oh no, like, kid, I love you. I'll take you under my wing. Like, let's give this instead of this constant butting heads. That's where that kind of comes from. I think there was like so much in his formative years that led him to make so many bad decisions, and to also want to, like, he's performing for Obi-Wan through the entirety of the Clone Wars. Like that's him, like, I can do this, I'm capable. He's performing for his dad and taking on Ahsoka, and then he makes a blunder.
I didn't even consider
Or
that.
many.
Like, I put that fight in hella perspective now. I'm like,
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what you're saying is like spot on, because it's like he is trying to prove himself. He feels like he has to, because he has to live up to that standard. Like you said, maybe if they wouldn't have put so much pressure on him, and said, "You're the chosen one. Now go live up to it." I mean, there's a lot of real world struggles. We have some families have standards where you feel like the weight of it is too much, and you try to do as much, and you just feel like you're not getting there. So I get that.
See, I
But
just
yeah.
like the fact that like the monkey bites his ankle and he just thinks, no, all right, screw this. He's about to like straight up just like shave
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
He's about to cut it in half midair. And Hondo's like, no, and he saves it.
Yeah, I was just like Hondo throughout this entire episode. I was just like, Hondo, like, you shouldn't be this formidable, but you
Yeah,
are, and
people
I kind
forget-
of respect it.
People forget, like, because of Rebels, like Hondo was straight up just a villain. Like he was just
He
a bad
was.
guy that they used repeatedly. Like he straight up tries to like he steals the kyber from the kids. He's mugging farmers here. He had Anakin and be like he was straight up just a recurring Star Wars villain, and he doesn't become good until like way later on. Like
No,
forget
yeah.
about Hondo.
No, yeah, he's just like a thorn in the side of the Jedi. Like he's not a big threat, but he is a thorn in their side. That is for sure thing.
I do like because like after going through all that, he still thought him and Obi-Wan were friends at the end of it.
Yeah. He's like Kenobi. He's like at the end. He states this venture is no longer profitable.
Oh, it's so good. Like this venture is no longer profitable, and then like his ship just like zooms out.
Yeah, I was like, yep, that's a great Hondo exit right there.
I love Hondo's ship design because it's like a classic UFO
yeah.
thing you would see, and it's such a cool thing you don't usually see in a lot of sci-fi. Just classic UFO flying saucer designs.
No, yeah, and I mean even before that, before Anakin gets to Hondo, Embo gets shot, and that's the whole reason why Anakin goes up to take out the tank. Also another really important thing that we missed even before that was Cerberus is doing the sawing down the big tree.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
And Ahsoka says it's too big, you can't handle it. And then she saves him, and then all of a sudden we find out that Cerberus is a small little man in a big machine
With
and
Darth Vader's helmet on his left arm, like patch.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was like a Star Wars fan club badge thing. It's like on his suit he's wearing.
Man, I really have to do better. I have to do better paying attention.
No,
You have to do more better.
Yeah, you know, we're just chugging along here.
Yeah, no, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just like it's cool to catch stuff like that. But yeah, he's this little man in a big suit. It's like, oh, like you don't have to like look. It's not about looking looking tough. You just gotta be tough.
No, yeah, I thought that was kind of important, and it's obviously a big thing in general, because I mean that's a life lesson. Like you don't have to look the part to be the part. You know what I mean? Because I mean I guarantee you everybody's gone through that stage where they have self-doubt, or they don't think they can do something, and we just have to always remind ourselves, hey, like I can do anything if I set my mind to it, kind of thing, which is easier said than done. Because I mean, life can be a real pain in the ass. But I thought that was nice, so that she gave him confidence, even going into the battle. Like, it doesn't matter how big or small you are; it's what you have inside. But that was a great lesson, and there's always usually one in each episode that obviously is like the typical, oh, here's the life lesson, here
The
you
moral.
go, the moral of the show. So the Jedi and the bounty hunters are able to save the farmers, save the Silum. And I love the back and forth between Obi-Wan and Sugi.
Yes,
Mhm.
Sugi, and he's like, so can we get a ride? Like, we did you a favor. Can you give us a ride? And she's like, I don't know. I'll think about it. And then she's like, yeah, sure. Come on.
As they all squeeze
Um,
in that small ass ship.
No, yeah, seriously, where people can get intimate, but it really doesn't look like you can get intimate in that damn thing. Like
They just have to
really.
get really creative, you know.
Oh yeah, you gotta find ways. If there's a will, there's a way. I mean, go back to Solo. We didn't know that there was a coat closet in the Millennium Falcon before that movie.
I want to know if all of those capes were still there, like realistically.
I don't know
That
if
was the
Like,
first thing.
Han-
when
I mean,
Han wins
Han
it
could have
back, I can
kept
just
them.
imagine him just dancing in the closet with a cloak, pretending like it's Kira.
No, that those capes had to be the first thing Han threw out, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's like part of the upholstery of like different parts.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You left us! How dare you!
No, yeah, and let me tell you, we're getting a lot more with Kira, and
Oh yeah, in the
and I am happy about that because if we get
Crimson
Emilia Clarke,
Reign.
if we get her
There you
in
go.
Book of Boba Fett, yep. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, mommy.
Whoa.
Sorry, dude. Kira can do no wrong to me.
She's doing plenty wrong right now.
Yeah, she's not the most ethical person leader, but I
But
mean,
she
she
is
also she is she's you know,
Yes, that was very good.
I mean, I tell you what, like that's one female character that I don't think gets the respect that she deserves.
There's a lot of them that don't get the respect they
That,
deserve.
yeah,
There's
I mean,
a
you're
lot.
right.
That's a big net.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a
is
whole
true.
other podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a doozy of a podcast right there.
Starting with shimmy and onwards.
yeah. So that is the end of the episode. Did I miss anything huge that anybody wanted to talk about?
I don't think so, other than
I wonder if Char caught
no.
this. Did you catch the type of gun that Sugi uses?
wow, you got my first fact. I'm proud of you. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Speaking of news,
hate
speaking of
her.
segments, Char, take it away.
All right, here we go. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 5, the Bounty Hunters arc. Fact 1, a familiar weapon appears, Malik. The Zabrak bounty hunter, Sugi, wielded an EE-3 carbine rifle, the same weapon Boba Fett used in Return of the Jedi. Fact 2, it pays tribute to a legend. Malik kind of went on this about earlier. At the very
I was
beginning
doing
of the
my
episode,
research.
at the very beginning of the episode, it states, in memory of Akira Kurosawa. If you don't know who Akira Kurosawa is, he was a Japanese filmmaker and directed the film Seven Samurai. George Lucas used Kurosawa's work and it helped influence the creation of Star Wars. This episode is a tribute to Kurosawa and his work. Also, Seven Samurai has a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Fact 3, a callback to a certain novel. During the episode, Ahsoka watches Obi-Wan and Anakin argue about which direction they should move. Ahsoka's facial expressions reminded me of the Ahsoka novel by E.K. Johnston when Ahsoka describes Anakin and Obi-Wan as bickering parents.
Dang,
Yeah.
those are 3 really good, interesting facts, Char.
Well,
Yeah.
technically it was like maybe 1.5.
Yeah, because Malik had said them all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
guys,
see, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll just not do my research and try to not be insightful in episodes in the future.
Yeah, the Jedi smart, get out. You're
uh,
not welcome here.
as always,
segment.
guys,
My achievement, not yours.
time for episode rankings. And thanks to Malik, he gave me the idea last week. So, the way it works is Youngling is bad, Padawan's okay, Jedi Knight's good, Jedi Master is great, Jedi Grandmaster is Chef's Kiss.
I feel bad for that K in Jedi Knight. It's not even capitalized.
Oh man, we're really gonna get picky here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
no
I deserve
No
it.
apostrophe between F and S. Come on, and Chef's Kiss. Come on,
Whatever.
Luke,
It's a tough
spelling.
crowd.
He's really
a
calling
tough-
him out.
It's a tough crowd.
I get a lot of my anger from Malik stealing my facts.
But Dylan, let's start with you. What would be your ranking for this episode?
I would say it's Jedi Master. I'd say it's great. I like the moral, and um, I think it's not just like the one moment where you're like, oh, there it is. Like, that's it. It's like, if you reflect on it as a whole, it's through like every moment. You get the same moral. You're getting the empowerment, you're more than you are, you can do anything. And I mean, I like that. So it kind of just resonates. So I'd say it's a Jedi Master.
Awesome. Malik?
Yeah, Luke, if you want to pull up as we go, if there's people commenting their
No, yeah, absolutely.
their ranking.
No, yeah, absolutely. Malik?
For me, I was a I think honestly, I think I'm gonna give it a Padawan. It's okay, but like I know there's like for me, it's like there's other episodes that just like completely blow this one away. Again, and that sounds bad. Like I do enjoy this episode, but like it's like I watch this episode, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I don't watch this episode and go like, oh my god, like like for instance, like Mortis or the episode or the bounty hunter arc later on. It's okay for me, but it's just like I had fun watching. It's not like I'm not going to clamor to rewatch it though.
And that's fair. We're gonna have some of those episodes that aren't our favorites, but like we've got people like Dylan who absolutely enjoy them, and that's the greatest part, is that you don't have to always love something to understand, like, because not everybody's Star Wars is going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, honestly, the whole Clone Wars show is it's an upward hill, and then once it gets to 5, 6, and 7, it's a heartbeat monitor.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say that for season 2, because season 2 has your Boba Fett arc.
It does. And like I said, it's at the very end, and it's slowly just going up.
yeah. Char, what is your ranking?
I give this episode a Jedi Knight. I think Hondo in this episode, I enjoyed him. His screen presence was really well done. Embo, obviously one of my favorite bounty hunters. Him and Sugi helping. It's just so weird seeing Jedi and bounty hunters kind of working together for the greater good. It's not a very common thing you see in Star Wars. So yeah, I just give this a Jedi Knight.
No, yeah, I would say it's a Jedi Knight too. It's not my favorite episode, but I like
it. Has elements that just stood out
that
to me.
resonate and that are Star Wars. And the Kurosawa stuff is amazing. That now that Malik brought it up, and I completely
before I did
off on it, and it's so it is Star Wars. Like it's just amazing, and I love going over arcs in episodes like these, where they would be called filler. But I mean, it does move the story. It gives you a glimpse into other civilians. You don't have a major conflict. You don't have any clones in it. You get different perspectives. And I think that's huge, especially in a world and in a galaxy-wide conflict, that you're getting different scenarios that aren't just focused on what's going on with the war. It's other stuff as well, which I feel like sometimes gets missed at throughout the prequel era in general. So gonna go a little bit off script here. I know what Char's excited for. I know what I'm excited for. Malik and Dylan, what are you guys looking forward to the most here in 2022, Star Wars wise? Like what show?
We did at the same time. All right.
You go, Malik.
Okay. I think about that
books,
one.
Comics.
Yeah, no one even said nose goes, and she just goes.
Because like it's like there's so much. So in 2022, honestly, it's a toss up between either Fallen Star or the book. See, my two toss ups are actually it's two novels. Fallen Star, because like first off, Claudia Gray, she don't miss. Like Master and
Yeah.
Apprentice, Lost Stars,
Amazing.
she's incredible.
Bloodline.
Bloodline, which is
amazing.
so good. My other one I'm really excited for is Shadow of the Sith, because like
Luke and Lando.
Luke and Lando are hunting down the killer of Rey's parents before he kills them. It's like, what's going on? Like, like Lando has a daughter that's been kidnapped. It's like, I need to know more about this. Also, Ochi of Bastoon is a bald king, and I live for him.
I was about to say that. I was
would
like, more
die for
Ochi
Ochi of
Bastoon
Bastoon.
is always
yes,
good.
he killed Rey's parents, but dang it, he's such a funny character.
He is. He actually shows up in Darth Vader, believe it or not, in the comics. And
Yeah,
that's a nice
shows up
little
in,
tie-in.
My
War of
favorite
the Bounty Hunters.
My
Yep.
favorite moment of Ochi is when there's these two guys and he's like, "Hold on, I just want to talk to you," and he shoots and kills one of them. The dude's like, "You said you just wanted to talk," and he's like, "I'm not looking for like a whole colloquial thing. No,
Yeah.
I just want to talk to one of you."
Dylan, what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I think you can probably guess Kenobi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but like here's my thing, and this
All right.
this may shock you. I didn't actually see Revenge of the Sith until like 2013. Because
Whoa.
I do this thing. It's like it might be like just like an anxiety thing. If I know something's gonna hurt really bad, I will put it off. I'll be like, this is the end to this trilogy, but like I knew it was gonna hurt. I knew exactly how the storyline was gonna go, and I was just like, I can't. I love him too much. And then I finally watched it, and I mean, it's my favorite. It's my like zenith, but I know that Kenobi is gonna hurt me from like the theme music to the end. I mean, there's not gonna be a moment I'm probably not
Oh.
2 seconds close to tears.
So
But
what's
I'm
gonna
ready
hurt
for it.
more? Hayden with Ewan McGregor or seeing Hayden with Ahsoka for the first time for you?
I mean, because I wasn't a Clone Wars person until like last year. So
okay.
it's like it's all pretty new to me, and like I ended up really loving it when I really didn't think I would, because it's one of those things I put off because I was like, oh, I don't have time for this. Like it's too many seasons. It's Ewan and Hayden together, because it's just like it just that's it. That was like my formative years too. It was Ewoks and then like them.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna lose my mind.
Again, it's so
Like
wholesome.
I'm excited, but I'm also like I can't, but I need it, but I can't, but I need it.
It's so cool to see you and say like that's his favorite thing about this, that's reunited him and Hayden for this project. Like that's so awesome. But like,
Take another swing at each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my. I will, Dylan, if you haven't. So I'm with you. So like my top 5 this year: Kenobi, Brotherhood. So if if you like the in between Obi-Wan and Anakin, so at the end or the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, after they get back on Coruscant, and they're talking about the 9th time that case on Cato Nemoidia, that doesn't count. This book is going to be about Cato Nemoidia.
Yeah,
And
you
what
owe me
happens?
one. Not that I saved your skin for the 10th time.
Yeah.
9th time.
9th time. That
Now
case on
spend your
Cato Nemoidia.
glorious day with the politicians.
Yeah. So that's got me really excited. Number 2. Number 3 is Fallen Star, because Claudia Gray, like Malik said, does not miss. And number 4 is going to be The Acolyte. I think there's a lot of stuff that we're going to get to see.
Does that come out next year, or is it filming next year?
Oh, it's filming next year.
Okay.
We'll probably get to see a no, you probably won't get to see a trailer because it starts filming in May of 2022.
Can I also give an honorable mention real quick? The Padme book, Queen's Hope.
Yes.
Because they showed the excerpt. It's the wedding. You get to see Anakin and Padme's wedding. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and you get to see Qui-Gon's statue. Oh,
So good.
oh, heartbreaking. But here's my pitch for Kenobi. and I probably said this on here before, but I want Dylan's thoughts on it because I'm sure it'll break her heart. So obviously we're gonna get to see them together, like Vader and Obi-Wan. So I think this interaction is either gonna happen one of two ways. Either Obi-Wan's going to slash Vader's helmet kind of like Ahsoka did, and we're gonna get the moment that way, or we're just gonna see Hayden straight up before they even start fighting take off the helmet, and we get to see him bare with the red eye, with the yellow and red eyes, and he says, "Look what you have done to me." And then we get the PTSD of Ewan, of Obi-Wan's, or Ewan's Obi-Wan, just like before he has to fight. Like that,
I would bet you anything it's the second one.
I think so too, because I mean Hayden's best acting was when he, like, at the end of when he turned. Like, that was probably the best acting that he had done through entire 2 movies that he had been in.
Luke's out here trying to get everyone crying in the club. Jesus.
Oh, I mean, if you think like the reaction to that final episode, like when we post that, it'll make Theory watching Luke Skywalker going through that hallway look like I will be sobbing, like I will be ugly crying. And if it makes a reel for Star Wars like reactions, I will be happy. But like I have loved those 2 characters. I grew up with those 2. Like those were the 2 that I gravitated towards. So seeing that moment is going to absolutely just wreck me.
Well, I get to react to my show first.
This is true. This is true. Char is ready for Boba Fett.
I don't get a show because my favorite Jedi died. Kanan is dead, so I don't get it.
Luke, I'm ashamed that you didn't say Book of Boba Fett for your top 5.
But I said 4. I said 4 was Fallen Star, and then number 5, Book of Boba Fett. You didn't let me finish.
I don't think you said that. I think that was when Malik mentioned Queen's Hope, and then that's when we just went off of Kenobi.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
I don't think we heard your 5th.
No, I mean, so I would say Book of Boba. Like that's something that we're gonna get into here in a little bit. But Obi-Wan's gonna wreck me, like not in a good way. Like I will probably, when that last episode drops, I will be like, you won't hear from me for a solid day because I will be in a state of depression, and I will be just. Yeah, I'm gonna need a support group because,
ladies and gentlemen, those of Dune and Beyond, we actually watch Star Wars for fun. If you don't get that,
yeah, we like to have fun here, but Obi-Wan's gonna just
the emotional turmoil is just a bonus.
Oh god, Star Wars really, and if you think about it, Star Wars knows how to do like the fun, but like, oh my god, that really hurt. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're talking TV shows, books, movies, like Star Wars is just the best. I'm sorry, I just had to go on a tangent. What else are you looking forward to though, besides Kenobi?
Apparently all the books that are coming out, because I'm gonna have to start reading those.
Oh yeah. I mean, talk about gut punches, like the High Republic, it just gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. And like if you haven't read Rising Storm, get ready. Because that one hurts.
I have it. It's like in this closet right here because I just moved and I had to pack up all my books, and I'm like, where are they? And so now I'm gonna be rifling through there to get it.
Oh, it like especially the new game that's out.
Well, coming out. It's not. It's not out yet.
But I'm glad that they're starting to hit the High Republic because I feel like it's not many common fans, which is fine. You can be a common fan. I'm not trying to be gatekeepy here, but it's a great way to bring those people into a era which has been mostly books and comics. So it's really, really exciting for me to like show people this and be like, oh yeah, like their first introduction was a game, and then it's like, oh, but there's a whole bunch of books that are great. Like, and I think that's the most exciting part. You'll have to, well, Dylan, you and I will have to have a conversation after you finish Rising Storm because I have
Yes.
thoughts.
Let's say there's comics too. Read those.
Well, and
too.
comics. If you like
High
if you like
Republic's
picture
everywhere.
book.
Is that Adventures?
No, that's the main line.
Okay.
But guys, we're gonna get into Star Wars news. I know we've been talking just straight off the cuff. Sorry, I had to because I really wanted to know what was.
You
everybody
said
saying.
going off script. You gave us a warning, so
I did. So
can't blame you.
let's get into Star Wars news. All right, so we're gonna start with Stellan Skarsgård talking about Andor and how he is excited and really likes the writing process for Andor. Give me a second here. I'll get this pulled up. There we go. And bam. Where's that? And also speaking of Kenobi, we'll get to that. O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son, had some thoughts about the Kenobi show. So it says, here's a question. Who do we think he's going to play in Andor? Do we think he's going to be like a Imperial officer or a Rebel officer? Like
I think he's gonna play Bill Anderson from a good old movie called musical called Mamma Mia.
I don't think that's how that works. But
Yes, it
just
can.
pops right in there.
It's called the Star Wars multiverse or movieverse,
Oh
I
my
guess.
oh god, that's expanded. That's expanded universe. We don't talk
Star
about
Wars What
that.
If combines with
Oh,
Mamma
good
Mia.
Lord.
He might again. He definitely has the officer look to him. I can definitely see him playing an Imperial officer. I can see him playing a Rebel officer as well.
I think he could be kind of like not General Veers, the Rebel general that blows up Edu, like puts the order for Edu.
General Draven.
Draven. Yes. I get like vibes from him, but he
also plays Professor Groff from a little show called Sex Education.
That's where he looks. Why he looks so familiar.
Yeah.
Well, he also played. Well, he was also the Doctor in Thor.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Stellan.
Yeah.
And the Harkonnen.
That's right. And
Aaron
Dune.
Harkonnen from Dune.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I did just bring up Dune.
Like there was so much so much put on him that he was kind of like the only way I could like recognize him was his face. Like everything else was like,
yeah, just like this part of his face.
The hell is going on here?
So he's playing a Hutt in this one. So he's gonna have more on him.
Yeah,
we have to recognize his face.
Went from one set to the other. You know, just slithered on over.
Just roll me over to the other set.
So he said the writing is really good. It's the same writer that did Rogue One, and also to work with Diego Luna, who's an old friend. So I was excited about that. And then my character is, well, you'll see. It's fun to play because he has a lot of different faces to show. So with that in mind, I mean, he could be playing a turncoat.
Yeah, my brain goes right to like a character like DJ from The Last Jedi, like that kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking of. It says he's got a lot of faces to show. Like,
No, yeah, absolutely. Dylan, what are your thoughts?
It's not going to be good. I don't think he's. I mean, he almost always plays someone who is either like mentally like defecting. Like he starts sorry, that sounds weird. He starts off one way and then he can like really go to the left. He's like way in left field. So I feel like he's a really good villain, and so I'd love him to be someone that's just like not good.
And you know what? He could fit that for sure.
He just there's something about him. He can be just like the sweetest, like Bill Anderson, like one of the like staple 3 Mamma Mia dads, or he can just be like the worst. Like there's
no in between with him.
Or he's running around Stonehenge naked like in Thor: The Dark World.
Well, that
No, yeah. Oh, we lost Char. That's real unfortunate. But anyway. Wait, hold on. I've gotten him back.
It's all right. We are
You
still
got-
flying half the podcast.
Yeah, we're still flying half the podcast. I think it's interesting. I mean, Andor is probably one of my most underrated. Like I think I don't think it's talked about enough.
To be fair, because it's up against Ahsoka,
Yes.
Hayden Christensen, and Obi-Wan, and freaking Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, Andor was gonna be the one that was least talked about.
Yeah, that is true. Man, I just keep losing Char. This is weird. Man, we're still flying half a ship. I promise. There we go.
Okay. I'm all good. I'm all right. Can you hear me?
Char,
Am I
what?
okay?
Yep. Yeah, you're good. Where do you think Scars? Who do you think Skarsgård is going to be playing? Since he said he wears a lot of faces.
If he wears a lot of faces, I see that he could play an Imperial officer. I don't know if he'll be a Moff, but I think he might be an officer.
Ooh, I could see him as a Moff or something like that. I think.
Well, wait. So when in the timeline will Andor take place?
Obviously before Rogue One.
Well, yeah. Go figure.
I would say I want to say like 4 years before Rogue
4?
One, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know that there were talks that Ewan was gonna show up in one of the seasons.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Cassian Andor's story begins during like the rise of the Empire.
Well, even before that, because he was he was in the Confederacy. Like he was part of the CIS.
Yeah, he was in the Rogue One visual dictionary. He was throwing bottles at Republic soldiers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen in between. But yeah. So that's kind of interesting that Skarsgård is really excited. I almost to be honest, I completely forgot that he was even cast in the show.
I didn't even know he was in the show. This is me learning the show tonight.
Yeah, so like that's interesting. Let's talk about O'Shea. So he was talking about
Talking about Kenobi.
Talking about Kenobi. He said, "This is the best job I have ever had in my life. I can't go into many details. I have to wait for the green light." So,
well, here's the thing: knowing Star Wars actors and actresses, I feel like Star Wars is the pinnacle role to have, just because of how big it is in pop culture. But once you get any other role, you're just known as that character from Star Wars.
This is true. I mean, and that's why I think they pick.
Which I don't blame him for being excited about this.
No, yeah. He said it was such an honor to work for Star Wars. I'm such a nerd. If anybody who really knows me knows I'm a nerd to the core. That was the best job I ever had in my life.
Oh, you know who I found out
the
other day who was a big Star Wars fan?
Who?
Simu Liu, the
yeah, I watched his Podwans.
He's in Visions.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that.
He's in the Ninth Jedi.
He voices who does he voice?
I think he's the guy who builds lightsaber. I may be wrong about that, but I think that's who he plays, the guy who builds the lightsabers.
No, that's interesting.
It's cool.
And he said that he goes, I can't wait for people to see it. I can't wait to see a trailer. I'm over here drooling like everybody else. Same, bro. Same.
I should try to message him on Instagram and be like, hey, do you know when the date of the Kenobi trailer is going to come out?
Yeah. You know anything? Because you know what's funny?
Some intel.
We had that community stream, obviously for the Disney Plus Day, which was very lackluster for Star Wars. But the one thing that I found really interesting is that he was like, "Oh man, I thought there was going to be a trailer," and I was like, "Dude, you were on it, the show. Like they're not going to tell you what they're marketing." Like oh man. like
Watch him just be like the Tom Holland of Star Wars, where like they can't tell him anything because he's just such a big nerd, and he'll just like absolutely spoil it for like the masses. So they're
oh,
like, no, yeah, you're not gonna know when the trailer's happening.
oh man, I tell you what, it like I said, 2022 is going to be like we didn't get anything hardly for news. Like we got, like yes, we got Bad Batch, which is fantastic.
Seen a lot of High Republic there.
We got a lot of High Republic, but like we're getting a crap ton in the next couple in this next like from 2022 to now until the end of time. It seems like we're not taking a break because we're just gonna get everything.
Yeah, we got so much in store. We got the shows. We got Rogue Squadron coming back into the mix. We have Acolyte coming. Even down the road, we have a droid story. We have Lando, and we have Dark Horse Comics coming back and doing more
Oh yeah,
work.
that's right.
Taika
Yeah.
Waititi's movie, Ryan Johnson's trilogy, Kevin Feige's movie. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot.
No, yeah, it's
I don't,
amazing.
I don't know if Kevin Feige's movie will happen, but we'll
What
see.
do you mean?
I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up. If it
Oh,
does
dude, it's
happen,
happening. Like there's
because
no
I know
doubt
for
in my
sure
mind.
Taika Waititi is making a movie. I feel like that's like a set in stone kind of thing.
He's currently writing his right now.
Ah, gotcha. So Return of the Jedi is now part of the, isn't it the national
It's like the film Hall of Fame. I don't know.
it's
I
kind
forgot
of
what
like the
you
Film
call
Hall
it.
of Fame.
It's like it's in like the art film archives is like culturally significant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now the whole original trilogy is now uh in that category, which is funny because I guess that I was watching the Star Wars show today, and they said that out of like 66,000 films, it was ranked number one, or 16,000 films. 16,000 films. It was ranked number one to get into that spot. Also with that was Fellowship of the Ring. Also was in there as well. Wally was in there, so that made it in. Which is
I love Wally.
Wally's
love
a
Wally.
cute little, he would fit in the Star Wars universe.
Would you?
I mean,
Absolutely.
despite when my girlfriend was on the community stream and was talking Pixar, we never talk about Pixar, and Wally needs to get some respect. If you're
agree.
watching this and if you haven't watched Wally, go watch Wally.
I still to say I've never seen Wally. I've never seen Wally.
You
ever.
should see it. Wally's is very underrated.
It is adorable.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I went when I went to the ICC con in Nashville in April, that was one of the first, like, because the droids were like in the hall, and then I just turned around and it was just like a bunch of us girls. Like I was dressed as Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, and then I had like a Sith sister, and then we had Jen Urso with us, and we like turn around and it like a fully like animatronic Wally just comes like rolling up, and it's like moving his eyes, and I was just like, can I have him? I love him. Like so adorable.
If you love Wally, have you played Jedi Fallen Order?
Are you
Oh.
trying to say trying to compare Wally to BD1?
BD1,
They
well,
do
I feel
have
like
similar heads.
they're very
Mhm.
similar. BD1 is like very cute in that sense of like he like is very helpful, and I think it's the eyes, if I'm gonna be honest. I think it's the eyes. Another good story medium, that second game is gonna be amazing. And then finally, obviously, Book of Boba comes out.
You see that art up there? You see the art on the top of the screen? Look how beautiful that
14 days.
See, look at that! Look at that abandoned Sarlacc pit.
What are everybody's predictions? Char, you're gonna
beat
go
you
last.
this time.
Yeah. Char, you're gonna go last.
Okay.
So whoever wants to take it, go run with it.
I win.
All right.
Predictions, like what it's gonna cover.
What do you think it's gonna be like? What do you think we're gonna see? If we're gonna see any characters that we've seen before. It was just, I think the director Robert Rodriguez came out and said that the trailers that have been coming out is only half of the first episode, which, I mean, we got eight episodes, right? 8 episodes, or is it 6?
8. You have 8.
8.
Mhm.
Like, that's just half of one episode. So, what are your predictions, Dylan?
So this is a great time for my mind to blank.
Okay.
It's past my bedtime. But gosh, there was like something really important, and it's like maybe I dreamed it. But it's like him taking over um the Hutts, because there's obviously more than one Hutt, and
Mhm.
him like obviously offing Bib Fortuna immediately. Um and I might just be mixing like fanfic, but I think it's just gonna be like, and especially with Robert Rodriguez, like it's gonna absolutely be nonstop. It's just gonna be like hardcore. I think they're gonna throw in some twists and turns like they kind
Yeah,
of did at the end
this
of The
show is going to be
Mandalorian.
very action packed. Knowing
Like,
how Robert Rodriguez directed that episode with Boba and Mandalorian, oh my god,
well,
he nailed it.
and just like and now that they know that like they were able to do what they could at the very end of season 2 of Mandalorian, and like successfully, because they were so worried about like not being able to pull it off, and taking so many extreme measures. I think that it's going to be the entirety of the show, and I don't think there's going to like be a second of filler that you're not just like on the edge of your seat glued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Robert
And
Rodriguez
I'm
is so good at selling action to the screen, and that's
oh,
what a lot of
he's
Star Wars is
absolutely one
about.
of
Like
my favorites.
that's what gets subscriptions. Like when Mandalorian came around, like no one got it until there was that one little aspect of the show. And I mean little aspect of the show that caught everyone's attention. It was this little green guy named Grogu.
Mhm.
But when I feel like there's going to be that one little thing that people will hook onto in Book of Boba Fett. It's not going to be Grogu. I don't think it'll be anything, but I think it'll have some connecting tissue from the prequels.
Well, and there's gonna be, I mean, there's so much content that they could like cover. I
Oh
mean,
my
you
god.
have
Yeah.
all I mean, he was just like a blip in the prequels, essentially. And I mean, he's baby, Daniel Logan.
Mhm.
But it's like, and like the whole backstory, like Django, I mean, they could literally just do like flashback after flashback, even
Yeah, I mean
like
you
all that time that you don't
with
have.
with Tamora Morrison, anything is possible. Like
There's
you can
there's
even have Daniel Logan like as like during like the Clone Wars era. You can have him have shaved head going around with Bosk, and that's what I feel like we could see in Book of Boba Fett. We could see Bosk, we could see Embo, we can see Dengar, we can see characters that are still alive and relevant to the story and are affiliated with Boba Fett that could help him with whatever. I actually made a video about this recently about my prediction for the entire story of the Book of Boba Fett.
That's why I wanted you to go last. Malik.
Let's say there's a great moment in the comics with Boba where he goes to like a Coliseum type thing, and yeah, he spray painted his armor so he's like in all black, and he's not green anymore. But when he goes in, he gives a fake name, and that fake name he gives is Django. And when he's in the Coliseum, the comic then just cut. He just looks around the arena. And the comic then just cuts to young Boba holding Django's head, and like in Attack of the Clones, and then just cuts back to him in the Coliseum. I want moments like that with Boba. I want to know, like, I want to see if this is a young boy who went through a very messed up trauma and is now trying to, like, like take it out on the rest of the world, and like, maybe like he looks at himself like he was filled with so much anger, so much rage back then. Maybe the fact that he's trying to like work through fear. I want to do more of a deep dive into who Boba is as a man, as opposed to how cool and how like awesome he kills here and there. Also, I would also love there's 2 bounty hunters I want to show up. One I think will show up is Cad Bane, because this is the perfect place for Cad Bane to show up, and he's probably gonna come to live action.
Perfect place for his story to end.
Second, I want my favorite bounty hunter to show up, Dengar, because Dengar
take a dirt nap.
Yeah, Dengar is just so hilariously.
I'm so scared.
I love Dengar.
He says "Hey, Boba, I like what you got going on here. Maybe you can get me in on this piece of action, huh?" And Boba's like, "Get out."
Yeah, Dengar, get the hell out. I don't want you here.
He was voiced by Simon Pegg in the Clone Wars.
Was he really?
Yeah.
For that episode with
Asajj Ventress.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm obviously we're gonna see him how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. I think that's for sure happening.
That's guaranteed.
That's guaranteed.
Footage. If that's not on the show, that would kill it. If we're still left with the unanswered question of how Boba Fett survived the Sarlacc pit, it's gonna cause an outrage, and it's especially from me.
Oh yeah, I can tell. It's gonna be. I'm just here for the ride. I'm up for whatever. I'm up for whatever. I don't. There's not certain things that need to check off that I need checked off my list. I will be the opposite for Kenobi because I'm more entrenched in that. So just watching Char particularly just be all giddy about it.
I'm trying to keep my expectations as low as possible so I don't, end up with the short end of the stick. If it's
so you don't end up devastated like me when Kenobi doesn't go my way, but I'll still love it regardless.
Yeah, I won't be like, oh, I want Starkiller in the sequel trilogy throwing around planets and stuff. I don't want to have that feeling if it doesn't happen.
We don't say that name. Char, go ahead. What do you want to see
from Book of Boba Fett? So overall, I just think that it's gonna relate back to what Cobb Vanth said in the first episode of season 2. With how after Jabba the Hutt's death, new leadership came in and immediately took over Tatooine. And they started by taking out the entire city of Mos Pelgo. But I think that Boba in this situation will be one of the most, I wouldn't say laid back, but he's going to do some things that'll will make us see Boba Fett in a different pattern. We're so used to Boba Fett being the hunter, the guy that's the most menacing on the screen. But I feel like we're going to see that, but we're also going to see the side of him as a leader because that's what he has to be. I mean, he's trying to take over the seat of his former employer, like the Ithorian said. But Boba Fett and Fennec, I think, are an underrated duo. And I'm excited to see what Fennec is able to do. Because if Cad Bane shows him, Fennec's like, oh, I remember you.
Yep.
And then he's going to be like, shut up.
Yep, pretty much.
I got business with Fett.
Do you think we'll see Omega?
I was going to say that. That's what I was mentioning earlier about the connective tissue to the prequels. I was like, what if we see an aged live action Omega? And then Boba is like, who are you? And then he's like, I'm Omega. But it's not going to be the same age, but...
I was going to say, are they the same age?
No.
She's younger than he is, right?
She's much younger. I think she's about maybe 13 in Bad Batch. And Boba Fett at the time's in his late teens.
How do you cast it? Yeah, we need to find a woman who looks like Tamora Morrison.
It's just Tamora Morrison in drag.
Wait,
he is all of the characters.
Wait, now that I think about it, no, actually, Omega's I think within 9 to 10 years old, because I mean, obviously, Boba was cloned in 32 BBY when he made contact with the Kaminoans.
Obviously, he says.
Yeah.
We all just know that.
Well, 32 BBY, 22 Attack of the Clones, 19 Rots, but Yeah, so Boba Fett will be. Well, I don't know. I think they're similar in age. They're not too far off. It's like I'd say it would be like me and Malik in terms of age. Like we're not too far off, but it's like enough space to where it's like it's a lot of time in between. So
Gotcha.
we could see Omega, we could see Bosk, we could see Embo, we could see Dengar, we could see bearded Alden Ehrenreich or Ehrenreich, whatever you
Aaron
what
Reich.
we call it.
It's Aaron Reich.
We could see Kira because
Kira would be awesome. Like I said, I
'cause, I
need more
mean,
Kira.
we could also see what was another character I was thinking about? We could potentially see because I made a video about characters that we could potentially see. Man, there's a lot of potential with this show. And I'm just excited to see what Robert Rodriguez does with it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that is going to do it for another episode. I want to thank my guests for coming on. I appreciate you all. It was a little we didn't have the viewers that we usually do because obviously a little thing called No Way Home came out tonight. Big plans, but
I'd say that and holiday time too.
Yeah,
and
and holiday
it's also
time.
finals for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, and finals as well. So I'm sure we'll catch you guys on the playback. But Dylan, where can the good people follow you?
You can follow me on TikTok. It's at Tatooinequeen, no space. And then on Instagram, it's Tatooine_Queen. And I'm happy to connect with everyone. More Star Wars friends, the better.
Oh yeah, never a bad thing to have more Star Wars friends.
I'm gonna go follow you right now.
I've been thinking about that for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I gotta follow everyone. I gotta be.
I did
best
that.
friends.
I did that before the podcast.
Boom! I'm so glad you said
prepared.
Followed Tatooine Queen. Look at that.
Yeah.
Malik,
I was like, should I go? Yeah, everyone's like, I should go. Wait, I should wait for them to tell me to do it. Hello, good people. Yes, you can follow me at TikTok at the _Jedi _Smark. I talk about Star Wars, pro wrestling, nerd stuff, all that good stuff. I also have a podcast. Exclamation point! It's a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast. Spotify, Audible, that strange weirdo behind the alley selling strange things, be it also my podcast. I also have a don't talk to that guy, boys and girls, and those of you beyond. I'm also doing, and I also have been. I did an RPG one shot with the likes of Darth Chaco, Shaylo Ren, Element 7. That's actually the final episode of that will be going up this Saturday. So look for that on Darth Chaco's channel.
Yeah, guys, go check that out. It's such fun.
So Malik is essentially the Swiss Army knife of geekdom.
Oh yeah, dude, he can do it all. He's
There's
a
a first.
great DM. If you guys are ever looking for somebody to do any type of D&D, Malik is your man.
You're just loaning me out to the everyone right now.
Hey, hold on. I'm not loaning you out to anything. I'm
just say, Malik's good at this thing. You ever need to track him down? I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, your resume
just
speaks for
find
itself.
his address.
Maybe
go to his house. It's fine.
If that's how this is coming across, don't do that. Don't do that. But Char, where can the good people follow you?
So, good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, and you can find me on the Podwans podcast right here. So, yeah, that's mainly where you can find me. And
Luke, where can they find you? Here.
Oh yeah,
you're already here.
Hey, Luke, tell us where the good people can find you.
Okay, I will. So you guys can follow us on TikTok at the Podwans podcast, on Twitter at Podwans, and on Twitter, on Instagram at the Podwans Pod. So we will not be doing a live stream next Thursday because it is before the holidays. But
because the next Thursday is that's the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, day before Christmas Eve. But we will be releasing a episode.
Which I will also be on because they have me in a lock and key apparently.
Yeah, we've got
Hey,
him under
you put yourself in
contract
that spot,
for
man.
yeah.
But I mean,
So-
it's always great to have you on. Malik.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Dylan, ever want to come back on? You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, you've been
Such a
great.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a wonderful introduction.
No,
to
yeah.
the world of podcasting and live streaming.
You don't,
No,
have to, you don't have to lie, Dylan.
Yeah. Thanks. Malik.
See,
but-
now he's calling
Hey
me out.
Malik,
So it's,
hey
you know.
Malik, when am I gonna be on Ha?
Yeah,
I
when are
don't
we
know.
gonna be on Ha?
Yeah,
I don't know.
when are the Podwans gonna be on Ha?
That would be
Oh.
an interesting
Or in this case, ho ho ho.
Yeah, it is ho 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 for the holidays. But
don't know.
we will be having our holiday special, which we will be pre-recording. So that will come out, and then we will have Book of Boba right around the corner. Doing live stream of the episode. And then we will be talking to we'll wrap up
Boba.
the year with
Boba
the Boba Fett arc of the Clone Wars. So those are what's coming down the pipe. So for everybody here, thank you, and may the force be with you.
For light and life, always.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.